All right. Human-centered nursing, the foundation of quality life, quality care. All right. We're just gonna go like this. It's just random, man. Random. Right here. Oh, look, that's great. We got a whole bunch of both parts, so it's perfect. All right. Nurse knowing the other intuitively. Knowing the other intuitively is described by Patterson and Zerdad as moving back and forth between the impressions and the nurse becomes aware of in herself and the recollected real experience of the other. Right. Which was obtained through the unbiased being with the other. Okay. The process of bracketing and intuing are not contradictory. Both are necessary and interwoven parts of the phenomenal process. Or phenomenological process, the rigor. What is this person talking about? No, sorry, I don't even understand what is. Maybe you need to be a nurse and this book would be important, but for me it doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's do this. Ethic basic principles of expression. Basic ethical principles refers to those general judgments that serve as a basic justification for any particular ethical prescriptions and evaluations of human actions. Okay, not bad. I mean, I'm not really interested in. Okay, we got some case studies and things. This is on ethics. We're gonna go this one, right? I mean, if you're a nurse, it's probably amazing, really interesting, but for me, Case study 2, an aberrant surgeon. This exercise considers the behavior of a surgeon who does not follow hospital policies for required pre-surgery examination of his patients and tries to implicate the attending nurse in his questionable practices. Students are expected to comment on what the nurse did in response to the situation and what they might do. Students may bring in similar experiences from their practice. Oh, well, this is actually pretty good, man. You want to make sure the doctor follows his procedures. Is he going to be a doctor on you? In a small rural hospital, the chief surgeon had a habit of not taking a history from and not giving a physical examination to patients before surgery. Yeah, that's a bad. The hospital's policy was that the nurse had to sign a paper stating what pre-operative preparation was done, including whether the surgeon had done the history and physical examination. She tried signing "not done" and rebuked by the surgeon, who told her that this action was legally dangerous to him and to the hospital. The nurse decided that the best approach was to call the surgeon after each client was admitted for surgery to remind him about the history and physical each time. He told her it's been dictated. Most of the time it had not been done. Expected outcomes. Students write reflections on the situation that addresses the ethical status of the actions of the nurse and that describe what they would do and why. Students may support their answers with paraphrase references, specific laws, rights, codes, ethical purposes. This is, it's getting a little bit better, maybe. Zola. How can the doctor justify not doing a history and physical examination on a patient that he's planning to operate on? Because that's human, right? If he doesn't want to do it and he doesn't think it's important, he's not going to do it. How can the nurse not act on this deviation from accepted practice? This is observed outcomes, right? Not doing an H&P is a deviation from the standard of care that the patient is entitled to. Clearly, the doctor is guilty of professional misconduct by expecting a nurse to flat out lie by signing a piece of paper that says something was done when it was not. The idea that the doctor says that he will get in trouble unless she lies about what has and has not been done is absurd. What's wrong with this nurse? Is she afraid of the surgeon? She is not acting in the best interest of her patient, nor is she conducting herself in an ethical manner in relation to the patient or herself. The patient is at tremendous risk. Instead of trying to find ways around the situation in order to accommodate the doctor's habits, she should have chosen to do the right thing for her patients. She knew the patient could have died. The welfare of the patient was not the primary concern for the nurse, and it should always have been. In a perfect world, Zola, that would make sense. However, the world's not perfect. And if you're a lonely nurse going against a head surgeon, your word's not going to matter, right? They're going to get you fired, right? And they're going to say that you're being discombobulated, and then you're going to have to be a whistleblower, and you're going to literally go against like David and Goliath. So I understand why she's just trying to make it happen, right? Because the nurse is going to be put in a terrible situation. Unless you're actually in that situation, it's very difficult for you to judge somebody in that situation. Now, I'm sorry for me being Dr. Eric right there, right? Let's see what someone else said. Yvette said this. As the nurse involved, I would be negligent in my duty owed to the patient by allowing the surgery to be performed without following hospital policy. My code of ethics states that my primary commitment to my patient and not to the attending doctor. In keeping with the patient's Bill of Rights, I will inquire whether the patient is aware of the risks and benefits of the procedure to be done, and if there are any advance directives, I would refuse to sign off on the surgical checklist and would not send the patient to the OR until the HP is placed in the chart. Further, I would notify the head nurse or of the chief surgeon practice. I would request that a memo be issued on the hospital's policies and procedures relating to surgery, since I am responsible to establish conditions conducive to the provisions of quality healthcare and consistent with the profession. In the interest of the effective functioning of the hospital, I would request a speedy resolution to the existing crisis with the ethical decision-making framework. It is necessary that dilemmas be resolved immediately so as not to impact negatively on patients. Again, Yvette, in a perfect world, you sound great, but in a practical world, I doubt that you do all that. Because if one person got in your way of doing it, and because this is very noble, I'm going to go snitch everybody out. Sounds good, but the probability is that you won't. Because as you're making it seem like your financial situation is perfect, right? There's so many variables to this. I'm sorry, I'm getting off again like Dr. Eric, but this is actually pretty good. I had no idea that I would be talking to the camera like I'm responding to someone's responses. But whatever. If you would like this book, just click the button and I'll send you off to Amazon. I will not be reading this and going further, but it was fun, and I hope you enjoy it if this is what you're into.